Screen time, movie streaming, and everything in between. Gary Tanguay and Drew Yanno, our very popular top five segment. Boy, I got to tell you, Drew, Gary Oldman, our top five Gary Oldman segment, that got a big response. A lot of debate out there.
All right. I want them to debate.
That's
These
it.
are just our thoughts, you know.
And I think we're going to get a lot of debate on this.
No doubt.
I had a really hard time coming up with the top five action movies.
Why don't you lead off?
I'm going to lead off, and I'm going to start. I'm going to do what you do sometimes. I'm going to do like a 5A and a 5B.
Yeah,
I mean,
perfect.
I did my top five, and I'm like, how can Lethal Weapon not be in there? I mean, Lethal Weapon for me, it's just phenomenal. And again, maybe it's because of our generation, but I even like the Lethal Weapons with Joe Pesci in them. But overall, I like the first Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibbs and Danny Glover the most. And then Fast and the Furious 5 and 7, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Fast and the Furious 5, they steal a vault. Okay, you probably haven't seen it. If I've seen it, it's not your thing. You get kids, you see Fast and the Furious. They're in South America. They pull a vault with like 2 Camaros out of a bank, and they drag it through the city in a car chase. It is fantastic. The other one, which is crazy, is in Fast and the Furious 7. They all supposedly in cars parachute out of a plane in sports cars and hit the road running. Okay. I looked up how they shot this. 10 cameras. They had 3 skydivers. They literally dropped cars, obviously empty, in the desert. One car crashed, the chute didn't open. Most of the cars made it, and they shot it with 10 cameras, either in the car, with the skydiver, or on the plane, which is amazing. Number 3 for me is Die Hard. Number 2, and this may surprise you, Con Air. I love Con Air. I mean, when Nicolas Cage says, "I'm going to save the day," I love Con Air. And again, a great villain, John Malkovich.
Yeah,
great villain. And then number 1, we know, is going to be The Rock. It's the greatest action movie of all time.
Well, I'm going to give 7 because if you watched our show on The Rock and Die Hard, you know that those are my 2 favorites. And it's Die Hard 1, Rock 2, depending on which one I've seen. So it could be the other way around. But those are mine. So I'm going to give you my list. I'll put Lethal Weapon in there. Raiders of the Lost Ark, I can't tell if it's an action movie. If it is, it belongs there. That's the problem. I got another one of those. Speed, which I liked.
Oh, Drew, that's a great call. I forgot all about it. It's a great movie.
I'm going to come up with another Michael Bay film. People make fun of it. It's another one I watch every time I get to it. I got to keep watching. Armageddon. Completely implausible.
Really?
I love it. I love Liv Tyler. I love, of course, Willis. And there's some great scene and great humor. Buscemi's in it. I like it. I like it a lot. It's classic Michael Bay. And I don't know if Crimson Tide is an action movie, but I love Crimson Tide. It's in that same time period. So
right.
I've thrown a bunch out there. Those are the ones that come to mind.
You're obviously, and this is no surprise, going a little more cerebral than me, because there's nothing cerebral about Fast and the Furious. The acting is not good, but the action sequences. See, that's the difference. When I look at Lethal Weapon or Die Hard or Con Air or The Rock, I think the acting, Sean Connery, for God's sakes. Yeah. I think the acting is off the chart. Ed Harris is one of my favorite actors, hands down.
It's the combination, acting, writing, great.
Right, and that's something, you know, I need to mention a couple more, like Avengers Endgame. You know, I watch it with my kids. We've watched all the Avengers. And Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic. To me, he's the guy that saved that franchise or made it, because he had that same ability to have the witty banter that you had in Lethal Weapon, that you had in Die Hard, that he could do that. Yeah. And Avengers Endgame, like, my daughter cries at the end every time. You know, I think for that generation, that is their action movie.
Yeah.
And there's some very good acting in that. I mean, Ruffalo's great, Downey's great. Fast and the Furious, Ludacris is good, but there's not a whole lot of opportunity for great acting chops, you know. but it's great action, you know. Okay, that'll do it for our top 5, 6, 7, or and Top Gun. We didn't even mention Top Gun. Should that have been in it?
It's not in my top. Never was.
It's not there.
Never was. The new one isn't. I like the new one, but I
we
can't
didn't even go
put it up
Mission
there.
Impossible.
Nope.
No, we didn't go Mission.
They're too serious. They're missing the humor and the villain.
They are, right, even though Cruise is like hanging off a tower in Dubai. For Drew Yanno, I'm Gary Tanguay. Our top 5 action movies. What are yours? Let's hear it. Screen Time. Check us out on YouTube, as always, and our podcast on Spotify and iTunes.